All right, good morning, everybody. How you all doing out there? Good morning, afternoon, evening, Corey. How are you? Hope you had a great Christmas. Yeah, that's epic. People are here and having fun before you even start, so that's okay. You know, somebody who doesn't like me. Thanks for that one. How are you? All right. Um, how's Wisconsin going? Wisconsin is the um, one of the determining states. How is it going in the politics? I've tried to stay away from it um, this weekend. I haven't even bothered looking anymore. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Both Robbie and um, Bill said they would be here too today, but I think they I think they um, took off today. So, how was your Christmas out there, guys? Um, Here we have had um, light rain for the last 2 days. Um, it's just been raining, 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 and I was gonna go out and do some blogging yesterday and try to walk a little bit. It was raining all day, and I got up now this morning. It's still raining, so yeah. I tend to agree with that. I really do tend to agree with that. It is just it just I, I don't have any words for it. Only in America, maybe. Only in America. Um, and the worst part, I think, is the denying of a forensic um, checkup. Every single court is denying that. That to me just tells me that you know. I mean, if there's nothing to hide, right, and there was nothing to um, be afraid of, why deny a forensic investigation? That's just what I'm thinking. We don't know, you know, how widespread it was, but in many, excuse me, I got something in my eye. Uh, uh, we don't know how widespread it was, but we'll see. Um, I think it's coming down to it. Something got to be done by January 6th, from what I understand. So we'll see what happens. Snow is blowing. Um, yeah. How is it there in U.S.? I hear some states. My son was in Connecticut, and he said they had like 6 inches of snow one day, and then it started raining, and the next day they had no snow. So it all rained away. Fahrenheit. Yeah, that sounds like it's pretty cold. That got to be at least 32 is the freezing point. So they got to be around -10, -15 something Celsius. And yeah, guys, it got to be this got to be the fact that this is happening is probably the global warming. It's getting cold. Yeah, Niagara Falls. Yeah, you got to be really close to that, right? 21 inches of snow. Is that so? That probably caused some serious traffic, right? Traffic issues. Yeah, when it comes to the election, I follow a couple of guys, um, and one of the guys I'm following is a black guy. I think he's from Arizona, Officer Tatum. Has anybody heard of him? Um, he's a really cool guy, and you know, he started the channel. I think he's a retired police officer, um, but a really good, really good. Yeah, yeah. And ABL. Yeah, I watched both of those, um, and uh, I think he's doing. I think he's doing very well. Um, and I hear now it's that these guys they're all facing the risk of getting deplatformed. So, but everybody's making migrations to other platforms and starting coming back there. So we'll see. So far, I haven't had any warnings or anything. Yeah, so I guess I've been a good boy. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him. So who else do we got out there? We got like 7, 8 people watching, um, and I wasn't even sure, but I figured Christmas is almost over, right? Yeah, and where are you now? You're traveling around so much. I don't know where you are. You are in Iraq, or where are you now? Jesse is traveling around, still working. Should be retired, but he loves work, so he's out there still working at. I don't know if I can reveal his age, but he's older than me. Let's put it that way. And I'm 60. I'm turning 67 here, so not before long. So it's good on you, bro. Yeah, Tatum, it's good, and I watch some of the new. Um, uh, is it Next News Network? No, not Next News Network. What is it? TDL or something? Or there's a couple of new one, including Newsmax, obviously, uh, that 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 I look at once in a while, and we'll we'll see. So anybody who wants to jump in here and join the conversation, I can share the link again here. Here we go. Here we go. Anybody who feels like jumping in, you're welcome. Yep. Yeah, Newsmax is in Iraq. Okay, yeah. And then you have Newsmax, and there's a couple of other ones too, um, that I started watching. That they seem to have their head on right. So I don't know. When Fox sold to Disney last year, I think it was in December. I think something happened there, and it is it is kind of a dangerous situation when all media starts having the same taglines and headlines all over the place. I know POTUS is either loved to the max or hated to the max, and when you have a um, constant attack for 4 years, uh, I don't know how he did it, how he survived. I would have been revolting against these people. Yeah, Huckabee is. All right. Yeah, he's a duck hunter. Um, yeah, no, and I watch him once in a while too, because I think he's balanced. He kind of uh, what do you call it? Keeps a balance. He doesn't exaggerate. He doesn't attack too much. I think he stays on the point most of the time without going overboard and chasing people. Uh, I think he's trying to keep the fire down a little bit, but he's right on the spot. I say, duck hunter. That's one thing I have never done. But we when I lived in Sweden, we were hunting. What do you call these birds? The cluck. You know, out in the wild. They're not turkeys, but they're. Um, I don't know what they're called in English actually, but they're pretty big birds. It was fun. All right. So nobody want to come on here with me for a little bit? Vicky, how are you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Shell? Hello, everyone.
Not much. It's going on. We have had rain for the last 3 days, pretty much all day yesterday. I was going to go out and do some blogging, and then nope, it was raining too much. So other than that, everything is fine. How was your situation with all the activities going on there with the virus and everything? Everybody back to work?
Yeah, I came off quarantine on Christmas Eve, so Monday I have to call the health services at my job to get a work release. So I imagine I'll either be back to work Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning.
Right.
Yeah. Right now, I think after we last spoke or whatever, I lost my damn smell and taste. So that's where I'm at right now. I still have my appetite and everything. It's just I can't smell or taste what I'm eating.
That is what they say. But is that the only symptom you got?
Yeah, I've got a real light cough. That's it. I never had the fever, never had the chills, never had the breathing problems. So I thank God I slid right on through it, with real mild symptoms. And my wife didn't. She tested negative. My son tested negative, and my 84-year-old mother-in-law is living with us. She tested negative. So that was the big thing right there.
Right. I actually saw some statistics yesterday that the transmission of COVID, you're not totally asymptomatic, but the chances of transferring it to a family member, I saw some statistics yesterday that was interesting, was very, very low, even in your home. So I don't know what is causing these spikes, from getting these out. When it comes to the spikes out there, like in your work, there is several tested positive at the same time. I don't know, because the home stuff, it seems like it is not too many. It doesn't seem to be the major source of transmission. I don't know if I'm correct or wrong on that, but anyway, we're glad to hear that you have that. But it's no fun having no taste over Christmas when eat all the goodies, goodies and cookies and everything, and no smell and taste.
Yeah, things are jacked up when you take a big old bite of chocolate, and you might as well be eating a turd because you can't tell.
Yeah.
But at least I'm on the downside of it. I imagine here in another week or maybe 2 weeks, I should have that smell and taste back. So.
Yeah, they say it's a shorter period of time. My brother had it too, but he didn't lost his taste, but he said he got when he got sick, he had slight fever, but not a whole lot. Right, it went like to 37, 37.5, no high fever. But he said exhaustion. I mean, he was totally exhausted, right? He said one day he stayed home, self quarantined. Once he tested positive, he's a, what do you call it? Contractor. He builds homes and renovates homes and does all that. But he said he took his lawnmower out and was going to push it around a little bit. He said he couldn't get it out of the garage. That's how exhausted he was.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I was telling my wife, usually, I would get home from work in the evening, and then we'd probably eat dinner about 6:30, and by 7 o'clock, I was wanting to lay down and go to sleep for the night.
Right.
But since I've tested positive, I can eat and eat and eat, and I don't get tired anymore. So I don't. It's crazy. I don't.
Yeah.
But I have. I went out. I didn't do it today, but Thursday and Friday I went out and I walked 5 miles, and I didn't have any issues.
And that's another thing. It seems like it's strange, that there's so many different kind of symptoms. To me, it's almost like, is there so many different strands of it, or is it just that flu is adding to it, or whatever? I mean, sometimes when I have the flu, for instance, I'll lose what do you call it, smell and taste and all that. But I don't know. I think I had it in March. Was one of those early birds because I had severe flu, which I thought it was at least. But at the time, we never got tested. I mean, Philippines didn't even have testing available at that time. So I just went home and didn't think of it. Stayed home for a couple, 3 weeks because I didn't feel good.
Yeah, it really must be affecting a lot around here because the hospital only put my wife on quarantine for a week and then said, hey, if you don't show any symptoms, we want you to come to work. And they are actually paying my wife, she works at night. They are actually paying the nurses that work at night. Right now, they're getting an extra $250 bonus per shift.
Per shift?
Yeah, I don't know if that's got to do with, the holidays and the natural phenomenon of not being able to find people that want to work during the holidays, or if things are really that bad that they're struggling with nurses.
Well, yeah, it's hard to say, but I know United States is now struggling with having enough nurses, and Philippines just put a stop. By the way, Philippines just put a stop on export of nurses to the point where they limited 5,000 a year, no more, because they are losing because the nurses here are making no money, literally making no money.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, these poor nurses here, right? They're putting their soul and heart into their work, and they have 3-4 years of education, and then go out and work for $25,000 a month. That's pretty much what nurses are earning here in a lot of hospitals. I think in Manila it's probably better, but it doesn't come nowhere close to where nurses are. I mean, an ICU nurse in U.S. in in a decent hospital makes like probably $65,000 to $75,000 a year. And here they're making 25,000 pesos a month, which is what, 300,000, $7,000 a year. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I guess Philippines is living 50 years ago. Maybe salaries were in that range somewhere else, but I feel sorry for them. And it's not, you know, I see that. I see that by doctors too are leaving here. So no ducks migration to the National Wildlife Refuge government sanctuary lands in Western New York. Western New York, no ducks.
Yeah. If there's no migration, there's a problem somewhere.
Yeah, you mean that the birds are not migrating? Is that what he says?
That's the way I read it.
Yeah. Yeah, that occasionally it happens though. If mild winters, there's something that signals to the birds, so they're not leaving. But I remember that when I was a kid, we had, what do you call these swans, right? The big white birds and stuff. They normally migrate south, and in Europe, and we had them actually not migrating, and they got frozen into the ice. I remember seeing rescue workers out there chipping the ice and getting these birds released from ice. That was and that was years ago. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to tell. Well, at least we only got less than a week now of this year left. See what 2021's got in store for everyone.
Yeah, that's that'd be the interesting part. By the way, when it comes to Philippines, and I don't know how many we got out there watching and listening, but if you are here in Philippines on a tourist visa and you are not married and you don't have any children here, and this is, I heard this yesterday, and it actually came from a guy that was sitting down and at a restaurant, and he works at immigration. So there had been a circulation in the immigration offices about tourists on people with no related relations here in the Philippines that were just here on tourist visa. They are not going to start renewing as of 2021. They're not renewing the visas, and everybody has to leave. Makes sense? No, absolutely not. But that's what I heard. And this is
either they trying to get rid of people, or are they trying to force people to get married to stay?
Yeah, it could be. But from what I understand, and I have, the reason I'm saying that is I have a friend of mine here right now, Italian. You guys have seen him, the big boy, Umberto, right? You've seen him in some of my videos.
Yeah.
And he's the one that actually overheard the conversation. He was up at Envy yesterday. So he talked to the guy, and the guy worked at immigration, and he said there's a circulation. They got notified from, I guess, federal level or whatever, that's going to start happening now by January. No more renewals of tourist visas.
Wow.
Unless you're, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead, Shell.
Unless you're married or have a child here, then you're kind of vested in, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's really going to turn things upside down if that actually happens and they actually do enforce it. Probably got tens of thousands of people that'll have to leave.
Yeah, no. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? Tourism is what, number 3 of Philippine economy? I'm not quite sure on that, so maybe somebody can fill me on that. But it's a very, very big portion of the GDP, and not allowing people to come in, I can kind of understand that, even though I do not understand it. But just deciding then suddenly to not renew any tourist visas and probably expel thousands of them out of here, because I'm sure these guys are a bigger part of the economy than most Filipino families. So it's very strange. He has been doing pretty good lately. He had his after he had his surgeries. They kind of left a pocket. It took like one third of his torso muscle out, and they left like they explained that. I guess he went to a different doctor. Like they had left like a pocket in there, so he got fluid in that pocket, and then he went and had it drained several times, and they had problems. It reoccurred, like every 3 months or so. He had the reoccurrence of it until one day he let it go, and he was home, and he pretty much went out and got all the medical supplies, and he said, I'm going to take care of this myself this time. And he did. And I don't think he has had any reoccurrence since that time, and that's over 6 months ago. So, yeah, that MRSA can be a pain in the butt. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could, I guess you could apply for a retirement visa if you're ready to retire. Yeah, he is kind of a gentle. There is nothing evil in there, but I wouldn't cross his path at all, being unjust in any way. I wouldn't cross his path. But he's a really nice guy. He's been renting a room from me, instead of staying in a hotel and paying $40-50 a night. I'll let him stay here, and he rents from me for $150 a month or so, and we have become really good friends, and he is no burden to anybody. Good guy. All right. So, uh, anything else we haven't touched on? Uh, the last thing I said. I would take anything that is said out there with a grain of salt, except that this guy was actually working for the immigration as an immigration officer. So we'll see what happens.
Did you see that the story about that RV that blew up in Nashville?
No, what was
It had,
that about?
oh man, it's got everybody stirred up over here. Show a RV driving downtown Nashville the other night, and then they say that it was broadcasting from the RV itself. If you do not have to be in the area, leave immediately. Then the next thing you know, the fucking RV blows up, and it messed up quite a bit of, took down a bunch of communications in Nashville. It's been, I don't know, 3 days now, and
Yeah, no, I never heard of that at all. RV in Nashville. Let's see. Did it explode or what happened?
yeah, they show film of it exploding.
Person of interest has been identified, and his home is being searched.
Yeah, you have
Better
to see
late.
if you could catch a video link.
Yeah, maybe we can catch one in. Maybe we can catch one in YouTube. I don't know. Should be able to. Let's see if I can find it. RV explosion in Nashville. We'll search for that. See what happens.
The politics are already seeping out too. They're saying if it would have been a Trump supporter, the guy would have been arrested. His name would have been plastered all over the TV. He said, but they're being awfully quiet, which leads everybody to believe it wasn't a Trump supporter. People are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it did looks like it did pretty decent damage. I don't know. You look at the damage it's done.
Yeah, I pretty much gave up on watching mainstream media because all they do is get you stirred up, and it's so fucking one-sided anymore. But damn, the little tidbits that I have seen, they really trying to get everybody stirred up over this RV exploding.
Yeah. Well, that's a typical stuff they do. So, but if you look at I don't see any live footage here. But it looks to me like it did some serious damage. But they have a picture of it going through town, I guess. Christmas Day explosion was intentional. All the windows. I mean, how much dynamite or crap did he have in that thing? That looks crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. So they don't know the motive for it. I don't see that anybody has like
Yeah, that's what where the politics, where they say the politics are playing out. If you're a conservative, the reason that they're not talking a whole lot about it and giving any specifics is because they already know it wasn't a Trump supporter. If it was a Trump supporter, they'd be ready to hang the guy and put him in front of the firing squad already.
right. Yeah.
That's how bad off things are over here right now, Shell. Everything is, politics is injected to every little thing that happens.
Yeah. No, I know, but I think the stuff backfired on Pelosi not bringing up the package when it was due to bring it up a few months ago, and she did it now. And apparently, if from what I understand, if he doesn't sign it, and he hasn't talked much about veto the package, right? But if he doesn't sign it, there's less than 10 days, and there's a new Congress. So then they have to redo it again. And at that point, Pelosi has lost another 8 seats. And apparently, there's only one vote because of the Republican down ballot wins. There's only one vote in favor for the Democrats, one congressman. So that's their majority now, one vote. So all it takes is just she lost her she lost her position on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody with half a brain knows all these relief bills are a bunch of bullshit. They throw a couple pennies at the American public to appease them, and they sneak in all this shit like $15 million for gender studies in Pakistan, $25 million for pay raises for Congress themselves. You got this, they're sending money everywhere but to the American people. So you tell me, and
And then I saw that the provision for the illegal immigrants was a check for 1,800, and the American citizen who is there, born there legally, 600, 1/3 of what they were offering to illegal immigrants, if that is true, right? So I'm not saying it is, but it would not surprise me. Let's put it that way.
Well, I tell you what, there was only what was it, 6 senators, Republican senators that voted against it when it went to the Senate. So there's a whole lot of them people that need to be drug out and tarred and feathered. At some point, people got to have enough and stop. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, all this stuff now going on, right? With even what's the senator, the leader? What's his name? Kentucky Congress senator. Yeah. Yeah. They started looking into him too. He's also tied down by compromise situations with Chinese companies and all kinds of stuff. His wife is, and apparently she is Chinese. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's Chinese, and I think her family made millions and millions. I think they either run or they part ownership of some tech giant from over there. So you know what that marriage is all about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when is this going to stop? And I'm here. To me, that's not a party thing. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. It's just that 65-70% of our politicians are seem to somehow be compromised in one way or the other. The only way to fix that, in my view, the only way to fix that problem, in my view, is term limits. When you have a Congress, I looked at it last year, or maybe 2 years ago now. 6 congressmen, right, had 240 years combined in Congress. 6 people, 240 years. What do you think that does to being compromised eventually?
All you have to do is look at the bank account from year one to the bank account that they have now, and they're all multimillionaires. How does that happen?
Yeah, and it doesn't happen being a congressman, because the cost of living in Washington, D.C. requires almost every single penny they earn to be there. So and if you start looking at legislations that are done, right, and again, this is not political, this is not Democrat, this is not Republican, but start looking at legislation and how they sign it and how they agree upon things. There's always a group of them that is benefiting on the back end of that legislation, and it fills up their wallets and bank accounts.
Oh yeah.
And this crap with lobbying. Most other countries that are civilized, first world countries, or whatever you want to call them. You can take most other countries, Scandinavia. I'm from there, so I can speak for that. We call this lobbying corruption, and it's not allowed. Corporate interests are not allowed in politics unless it goes into a central fund that then disperse equally to both parties. Or in Sweden, we have 4, 5, 6, 7 different parties. So this thing where the Democratic National Committee or the Republicans headquarters can take all this money and bring that money in. I mean, it's crazy when they spend $150 or so million to get the South Carolina senator out of the race. He won anyway, but it just doesn't make any sense that all this corporate money is allowed. If you look at Facebook spent, according to sources, right, and news, spent about $500 million in this election, and most of that money apparently has gone to, you guessed it, the states that are now in question. And some people say, and I don't have this verified, so I'm just putting it out there. Go out and try to find it for yourself. But some people say that with the $500 million came a dictate: you either do this or you won't get the money. I'm not sure that, I haven't seen a verification, but there is stuff out there now that is going that way. So we'll see. We'll see. What happens. These big tech giants are going to cause problems. So it's time to break them up, I think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's not a Democrat, not a Republican thing. They're both in bed together on this crap. The problem is people know it's wrong, but nobody wants to do a goddamn thing about it because they don't want to cut their own throat.
Right. Right. So first you get released in refuge, first rehabilitation program in the United States. So you were a part of that? That's interesting.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm kind of dreading possibly having to go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Nice little 2-week other than being cooped up in the same room for about 10 days straight. It was a nice 10-14 day off of work where I didn't have to use my vacation, didn't have to use my sick time.
No, and you got paid during that time too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey. That's just that. It's needed. McConnell's answer was, "We have term limits. They're called elections." Bullshit. You're elected 2 terms and you're gone, bro. That's it. We need to have that. I mean, what sick system allows people to sit there for 40, 50 years? It's just beyond me. As a person that sits and looks at this from a little different distance, and being from another country, there are some things in the United States that are really, really screwed up. Let's put it that way. Good morning, Mike. How are you? Mr. Mike Cortez. And he is here in Pampanga. He's actually really, really close to me. All right, let's look at those. Buffalo. So Thad's wife have been there for a long time, and yeah, we're both here. We're both here in Doe. I'm in Barangay Doe. I don't know where you are, Mike, but maybe you told me in the past, but I can't remember. Camachilas Phase 2, just up the road, a few blocks away from here. All right, so yeah, that's cool. So when it comes to politics, I just think that the system needs to change fundamentally, so we don't have repeats of all this. And some people say that if we don't get to the bottom of this election, and see, last election, like when Trump won, right? Then everybody was screaming about voter fraud. This election, where we say that there might have possibly been a little bit of that, right?
Then you got people out there insinuating that.
Then people say, move on. That's the answer. Move on. It's over. It's so funny how people are reacting to things. And you know, I'm not gonna go into it in detail. This video is probably gonna be banned anyway. So that's the other part about talking about these things. You know, you cannot say anything. Yeah. And somebody said that you talk about election and mention the word beep beep beep, you know, then you have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's suppression right there.
Yeah, it is. And you know, then you go and check the fact checkers, right? Which I did. And Facebook, they refer to their fact checkers. And when you get into their fact checkers, they are proven to have a great bias against the current sitting president, right? So their fact check is based on their bias, you know. And USA Today, it's one of their sources for fact checking. You know, I mean, it's just, to me, it's just one cover up confirming another cover up, in a sense. It's just crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so he's also here in Camachilis. Okay. Yeah, we got to get together sometime, Mike. Have a lunch or something. Camachilis, phase 1. Maybe I go up there and blog sometimes. And we run into each other. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying this too, Robert. We've been saying this too, and the biggest evidence of that is, in my view, this is in my view, right? Biggest evidence of that, and that it happened, is the fact that they will not allow a forensic investigation of the voting machines. Every single court, except one in one county now in Michigan, has said, go ahead. And if we found, or if they find that one was compromised, then we can almost be as certain that it was compromised all over the place. Yeah. I've already moved over there.
Yeah, I do get a kick out of reading different people's comments on Facebook, though, because you either hate Trump with a passion or you love him. There's no in between. Half the people think he's the devil, and half the people think that he's the second coming of Jesus Christ himself. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. While we're on this subject, Mike, get with me one day, and we'll go and shoot a vlog up there. You can contact me, guys, on Facebook. So you can contact me there. So in Facebook, just hook up with me on Facebook, and that's my name right there. You'll Google me, you'll find me. You can't hide from Google no more. They got you down pat, man. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, get with me, guys, and we'll do that. And like I said, I moved over, and there's a new there's a new video platform too. So we're starting to establish ourselves there too. So it's going to be needed at some point, and you know, the conservative voice has been pretty much silenced. I don't know. Are you asking me how long I've been here in Philippines? It is 6.5 or so, 6.5 years. Been married for 7 almost. In August, I think it's going to be 7 years. So it's quite a while. I've been around here. I've been back to U.S. though several times. I go back. You know, the first couple of years I was on tourist visa, and you can't renew after 3 years, so you had to leave the country. And I did leave the country. I went to Hong Kong. Didn't realize my passport had less than 6 months on it. I don't know. Did I tell this story for you guys before? And I went there on December 13 just to go there for 1 day and come back, right? And my passport had less than 6 months on it, and Philippines wouldn't let me come back in. I got stuck in Hong Kong for a month before I could get my new passport over Christmas and New Year by myself. And it was funny. It was funny because when everything escalated, and Christmas and New Year in Hong Kong, the hotel rates are going to $200 a night. So you got to stay for 30 days. It was funny.
Get you in the old pocketbook.
Oh yeah, they got into the pocketbook. That was for sure. On the Christmas week and New Year's Eve weekend, the rates were up there in the $200 a night. Couldn't find a room.
Hey, when you've traveled back, I assume you've been coming back to the States, or are you going back to your homeland when you left the Philippines?
Say that again.
When you were mentioning that you've left several times, does that mean you left and came back to Florida, or did you go back?
One time I left and went to Hong Kong over the day, and I was going to come back the very next morning. I flew out in the afternoon, and I was going to come back. I was just going to spend one night in Hong Kong. December 13, my passport had less than 6 months, and it wouldn't let me on the plane on my next day return ticket. I got stuck to the 9th of January until I got my other passport, because I had to go to the embassy, and and then the embassy shipped it to Manila, right? Thinking that I would be able to fly to Manila, and so it got stuck in Manila for a few days, and they had to ship it again from Manila into Hong Kong. They would not allow me on the plane. So by the time I ended up buying three return tickets, because when you get into Philippines, you need to have a 30-day. Once you're on the tourist visa, you needed to have a 30-day leaving the country in 30 days, right? You know how that works.
Right.
You have to have a round trip. So every time I bought one, I think on the 19th, the 27th when I thought I would have my passport, and I ended up paying for 3 different round trip tickets. Bought them cheap though. The tickets are cheap. You know, you go Hong Kong here, you can go round trip for a couple of $100. So let's see. Land is expensive. Well, land is expensive. It depends on where you buy the land, though. You know, if you do buy land in a big city, Manila, and here even the land prices has gone up. It's getting up there, but you know, me and my wife bought a piece of land down in Samar from her sister because she wanted to get rid of it, and I figured we'll buy it, and that was 3 hectares, which is about 8.9, almost 9 acres, somewhere around there, and I paid $8,000 for the whole thing. So, and it's right on the water. It's a beautiful piece of property. So it depends on where you buy your land and how you want to living. You know, I put out a video yesterday about the fact that budgets here are changing, and you can live an American lifestyle here if you want to. You can have a 4-bedroom home with a pool. You can have a nice condo in Manila if you want to live that kind of life, and you can spend all the money you want. It's just that, you know, if you live in the countryside here, you can live decent with a good budget, and everything is pretty much there. Okay, so guys, let's see here. Am I missing something? Did I? Yeah. Where was that vlog? I got to be honest with you, Thad, that I really haven't been on the internet over the weekend, the last 3-4 days. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, if you have a medical condition there, you know you're gonna be needing some kind of close distance to a hospital. I can understand that part. You will not find that in Samar. You have a heart attack where my land is, you're at least 3-4 hours out before you can see a doctor. I mean, that's you know, but that's the chance you take. That's the chance you take when you make your choice on where to live, right? What do you say, Dickie?
Yeah, I just got to look at the trade-off. You know, at some point we're all getting older. You know, are you going to give up being close to medical facility so you can live out in the country and be away from people, or do you want to turn yourself into a city dweller? That way, you know that you've got, you know, you can improve your chances. Me, I'm not a city guy myself. My wife is, so I'm probably going to lose that battle.
Right.
But I'd much rather be living out in the middle of bumfucked Egypt than right smack in the middle of a big town.
Right. Nadine Guevara, YouTube. All right. Yeah. Well, if you're looking around Cavite or Angeles, I got to be honest. I mean, I got to be honest about Angeles City. Um, I am not impressed. The only area that I do like around here is actually inside Clark, because it's part of civilization in there. Here you have overpopulation. You guys should have seen like the day before Christmas. I mean, talking about social distancing, about 2 inches apart, like sardines in a sardine box everywhere. Um, I want to get out of the city. I don't care about hospital. I have absolutely no fear of you know. I I live my life this way, and that is that when it's time to go, it's time to go. And can we artificially, with medical help, sustain ourselves for another year, half year, 6 months? Yeah, we can. I saw my brother go through stage 4 cancer for 2.5 years. He was fighting to survive, um, and in the end, the chemo actually killed him, um, because it weakened his blood vessels so much that he had a brain aneurysm. And that, you know, if you get to that point in life, and then I'm of the point that you know, if God willing, I survive. If God not willing, I'll go home. So that's my thinking. Tarlac is actually a pretty decent city. For those of you who hasn't been there, I've been by there. I haven't really stayed there a lot, but I've been there several times driving through. Tarlac is a pretty decent city, but again, Philippines is like you have this vast 7,500, 7,600 islands, right? But it seems to me like 90% of the population is concentrated around cities. And Angeles and Mabalacat, fairly small cities, but there's a 500,000 people living here. Um, once rush hour traffic stops, I mean, it's the cars are bumper to bumper, very little traffic moving. Filipinos are making 4 lanes out of 2 lanes. People are making right-hand turns from the very fourth left-hand lane. I mean, it's just a crazy. I That's why I want to go. I want to go to the countryside eventually. But Tarlac is nice. I mean, if you like Tarlac, it's nice. Yeah. So let's check this out. Nadine Guevara, YouTube. Okay, we'll check it out, and then we're gonna go up there and do a little vlog in Camachillas. So we'll have Mike. Mike, get with me, and we'll go up there and get it done. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna say good evening and good morning to everybody, and go about my day here. We'll cut it for now, and we'll see y'all next Saturday night again, Eastern Standard Time around 8:15, and we'll go from there. And I wish everybody Happy New Year, and you all have a great time, and stay safe, and take care of yourself. God bless. Bye bye.
Yeah. Happy New Year's, everyone. Take care. See you on the next one. Later, Shell.
All right. Later. Bye-bye, Dickie.